Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Apocalypse the Gaming Guru, and welcome back. Today, I'm finally going to be talking about Red Dead Online. Now, let me just get right into it and say that Red Dead Online is easily one of my favorite games of all time. Not just that, Red Dead Redemption, Red Dead 2, those are some of the greatest games I've ever played. The story, the gameplay is just absolutely incredible, especially the second one. The first one was just like incredible. I mean, honestly, I'd never really played a game like that. Well, I don't think a lot of people had. Uh, and the interesting thing about Red Dead is that, as much as it is kind of a Western, just sort of like just a Western Grand Theft Auto, it's also a lot more than that. The interesting thing about Red Dead is that you can do more and less. And what I mean by that is that in Grand Theft Auto, okay, let's look at Red Dead Redemption 1 compared to San Andreas and Grand Theft Auto 4. Actually, let's just say Grand Theft Auto 4. Because in San Andreas, I can make a whole video about the differences between San Andreas and Grand Theft Auto 4 and 5 and how San Andreas is honestly probably the better game out of the three. Those are the only three Grand Theft Auto games I've actually played, by the way. Tried to get into Lost and Damned, but it wasn't until after I'd played 5, and it was just kind of hard to go back. But, so yeah. When it comes to, I'll just say real quick, with San Andreas, you were just, the map one, I feel as though was a lot better than in the other games. But, and plus all the stuff you were capable of doing, like gambling and all that, like it was a fun game. Buying whole new properties and stuff, San Andreas was awesome. Not that I don't love 5. 5 is great. I love it. Played it a bunch of times. But if they were to remake San Andreas with GTA 5 graphics and like what am I looking for? The interactability of Red Dead. You know how you can interact with people, you can talk to people, hey, how you doing? And walk around and stuff like that. San Andreas it would be way better. But anyway, back to Red Dead. I expect me to go off on tangents all the time. It's what I do, is how I live. And to have trouble remembering what I was originally talking about. It's just the way I am. But anyway, so Red Dead Online. Let's talk about Red Dead Online for one. And just as you can see right here, I'm playing Red Dead Online. This isn't my normal outfit. I just made this because I have nothing better to do on this game than just go around, make outfits, buy guns, do stuff. Which brings me to my biggest problem with Red Dead Online, and that is that there is just not enough content. Like, there really is just not enough content. But more on that later. Right now, just let me tell you about how much I love this game. The customizability of everything. You can have different masks for your horse, different horses, all sorts of different outfits, different everything. It's an incredible game. It truly is. You can just make different outfits, different characters, different gun medals. You can go fishing. This game truly is a massive, incredible open world game. This is the kind of stuff that I wished for when I was a kid. This kind of just incredible open world where I can play with other people, especially Red Dead Online. I've mentioned before that GTA Online, you're more like people on there. I wouldn't call them antisocial. I would just say that they're more likely to attack other players than people on here are. And as I've said before, I don't think that GTA Online is toxic or anything like that. I think it is exactly what it is supposed to be. You know, just as I think Red Dead Online is exactly what it's supposed to be, but it falls very short of delivering on content to long-time players. And I think long-time players would agree with me. That's why there's a hashtag going around called Save Red Dead Online. And it's really annoying because Red Dead Online was supposed to be this great game that it was supposed to be a Western Grand Theft Auto Online. That's what it was supposed to be. And for those of you that don't know much about Grand Theft Auto Online, let me just say that they're getting massive updates all the time. Like at least twice a year, they'll get massive updates. New weapons, new vehicles, new whole new stories. They just added an entire new story. Unfortunately, while I do play GTA Online, I've never been able to get past like the second heist because I don't have anybody to play with. So unfortunately, I've never been even able to experience any of the content on GTA Online. That's why it's a very frustrating game for me, and one reason why I love Red Dead Online. Because in Red Dead Online, I don't need other players. I can do there are certain missions where you'll need other people. But I was telling my friend this the other day. He just got Red Dead Online like maybe a week ago. Or 2 weeks ago. And I was telling him that the great thing about Red Dead Online is that basically everything in the game, all the stuff you can buy, it's achievable on your own. You can get it on your own. You don't need, it's not, it doesn't cost millions of dollars. Yeah, it might be a bit of a grind. But if you know how to do it, and you know what to spend money on, and if you have friends who are high levels like me, I have the trading. I have literally basically anything you can buy in this game. The moonshine business, the trader company, everything, all the money making things. And I'm just sort of spinning my wheels when I actually play it. Like I'm just playing it to play it. That's how great this game is. I play it even though I have nothing, like there's no reason for me to play it. There's nothing for me to earn or work towards. I've got everything. Everything that I want. Plus, about $6,000. I had 9 not too long ago, but I bought some stuff, made a new outfit. I made a new outfit just for the heck of it. Like, that's the thing about this, like, being able to make outfits and stuff like that, like, this is a great game. It just needs more content. The interactions between players, I love it. You pass someone on this game, they'll wave to you most of the time. Yeah, you'll get people who will just shoot you down for no reason. But that's part of the game, I don't consider that, like, griefing, Because what does that even mean? It's like, oh, you're messing up my game. It's like, that's their game, As much as there are people on here who want to be a trader, who want to be a moonshiner, there are also people on here who want to be an outlaw and just go around and be ruthless. And that's their choice. They're allowed to do that. That's the great part about this game. It's the freedom of it. The freedom of choice, of opportunity. I absolutely love it. Oh, plus, my God, just look at that. I love the look of this game. It's just absolutely incredible. But you can have hunting wagons. You can form a posse. You can do all sorts of things. You can go on bounty missions. You can do all sorts of missions and all sorts of stuff. You can have different horses with different saddles for different reasons. For instance, when my friend likes to go on bounty missions, I have a horse just for bounty missions, a bounty horse named Lobo. And if you get that reference, you're awesome. An whole bounty hunter outfit. That's the great thing about this game. Is you can just, the freedom of it. It sort of embodies the idea of the West, of freedom, of being able to choose your own path. That's why I get so upset when people are like, oh, you're griefing me. Oh, stop killing me while I'm trying to do a mission. It's like, and I haven't done that in a long time. It's been a long time since I actually, messed with people who were doing missions and stuff. And that's a whole other story. Well, actually, it's a pretty short story. So, okay. When this game first came out, I used to go around and attack people. I was a quote-unquote griefer. I would go around and just destroy anybody. Hunt people down on the map. All that kind of good stuff. And the reason that I stopped, there are two reasons. The first is that I poked the bear. And what I mean by that is that I attacked a person. I was level maybe 15, less than 20 probably. And I attacked someone who was level 300. He was level 187. And as I said, this game had just came out. It'd only been out maybe a month or two after by the time I'd gotten Red Dead Online. So in that time, this dude had already gotten to level 180. He probably sat here and played this game all the time. Which, there's nothing wrong with that, with having a game that you love and you enjoy playing. But I would always tell people to branch out, play new games, find new games. That's why I love Xbox Game Pass, because I've played so many great games on there. Anyway, I attacked this dude without looking up his level, which is why, that's another thing I do. I'll go into cinematic mode, and then open up the map, and that'll allow me to look up, and anytime anyone pops up, I'll see their name, I'll go to player, and I'll look up what level they are. Now, I'm level 220, so I'm often at least in the top 5, at least top 10. Right now in this session, I'm actually the highest level player. But back then, I didn't have the wherewithal to look up and try and be oh, is this dude super dangerous? I was just oh, I'm a badass. I'm gonna go around shooting people. He spawn killed me more times than I can remember. It got to the point where I was running away and he was still managing to kill me. He was on his horse running. He destroyed me. But that didn't stop me. I laughed when that happened a lot of times when that stuff happens. to a certain point. At one point, I'm like, all right, dude, you've made your point. You know, I get it. But a lot of times, I feel like when people do that, they're being real petty. Like they have this, it's like they have this idea in their head that they're just like this ultimate awesome dude, and then some random guy comes up and blows them away, and then that messes with their perception of themselves. So then they have to like go around and destroy this dude like 80 times just to prove to themselves like, no, I'm a badass. I can do this. I can take you out. You can't take me out. Like I feel like it's more for them than it is for me. You know, because it's like after like 5 kills, you've proved your point. Especially when I haven't been able to get a shot out on you. Like you've made your point, dude. You're better than I am at this game. You know, and that's the thing. I'll never claim to be like the greatest at this game. Like, yeah, I'm pretty good at it. I'm a good shot. When it comes to long range engagements, though, I tend to avoid them. I'm better at medium to close range. Like if someone was over on that hill with a sniper rifle trying to kill me, nah, I'm gonna avoid that. I don't like long range engagements. It's not that I'm a bad and again, it's not that I'm a bad shot. It's just there are people better at me than this game. I'm more than willing to admit that. You know, I don't. As much as I play this game a lot, I don't often. I try to avoid playing with other people, like not playing with other people, but like fighting other people. And again, it's not because I'm bad. I'm good at this game. I get a lot of I take people out. You know, I give depending on you know. Like I said, I've fought in people who are like level 400 and they just, you know. It's been a long time since I've been destroyed on this game. I'll usually give at least as good as I get. You know, or at least I'll get a couple of hits, you know. I'll get a couple of good kills, good shots in. But the reason why I kind of avoid fighting with people on this game is just because it never ends. Like, it gets real tedious. I attack them, they attack me, I attack them, they attack me, boom, boom, do, and it can go on for like 45 minutes. You're just sitting there in this endless firefight with this person because you both are like dying and coming back to life, dying, coming back to life, dying, coming back to life, and it just gets like I said, it just gets tedious and boring. And it's like I have better stuff to do on this game. Well, not necessarily. But I have more interesting stuff. Like, I'm capable of admitting, like, okay, this guy's better than me. I'm going to leave now. Or, I'm better than this guy. I'm going to leave now. Like, I don't have to sit here for an hour and a half, like, fighting back and forth with somebody, you know? Okay. Again, I digress, though. Back to the second reason. The second reason why I stopped going around and attacking everybody was because I hurt someone's feelings. I made some kid cry. It was in Valentine. I'll never forget. It was in Valentine. And I was just destroying this kid. And I know he was a kid because I heard him on his mic. He was this kid. He was probably maybe like, you know, somewhere between 6 and 12. I don't know. Some little kid. And I was just wrecking him, just destroying him, just shooting him down every time, spawn killing. And he was getting so frustrated. I'm hearing the mic. He was like, oh my God, yelling and crying. So bad that his mom came in. And she was like, what's the matter? And he was like, oh, this dude keeps killing me. And she was like, oh, why don't you talk to him? And he was like, oh, he doesn't have a mic. And I did have a mic, I just didn't have it plugged in at the time. But anyway, so I was hearing this conversation, and it just brought me back to, like, who I was as a kid. Because that's exactly who I was as a kid. Like, I didn't play a lot of online games, but when I would lose a lot, I would get frustrated. And then, and I've had my mom come in several times and be like, hey, what's the matter? What's wrong? I'm like, I just, like, go away. I keep losing. You know? So it just really brought me back, and I was like, man, I've been there before. And as, you know, she's like, well, why don't you just leave the game, you know, go somewhere else? And he was just like, okay, fine, I'll leave the game. And as he was saying that, I was putting my mic in, And I was gonna be like, hey, I was gonna apologize, like, hey, I'm sorry, help him out with submissions. But he left the game before I had the chance to do that, you know. So I just felt like such an asshole. That is probably like one of the most asinine moments I've ever had in my life. Like, just one of the big, like, one of the times where I've been the biggest asshole of my life. Like, seriously. But so that's another reason why I stopped going around killing people and just destroying everybody. Not everybody, but certain people. But yeah, so those are the two reasons. Because one, I got destroyed, and then two, I got a little bit of perspective and was like, I remember what it feels like to get just annihilated, and it's not fun, and it's annoying. Like, because I've been a bully in my life. I've been bullied, you know, and it's not fun. But it doesn't make me an asshole for screwing up someone's mission. Like, you know, like, that's different. Like, me just like, I had some people mess up my mission the other day. I was like, you bastards, you know, but I didn't hate them. I wasn't, like, pissed off, because at the end of the day, it's just a game. And that's what can be very irritating about this. About Red Dead Online. That's one of the irritating things about Red Dead Online, is that a lot of the players are, for lack of a better word, crybabies. They cry. They cried so much that I can't see where everybody is on the map anymore. They were like, oh, I'm tired of people. Please, road, change it. So now I can't, like... I don't feel as though there's such a thing as griefing, unless, like I said, it gets to the point where someone just keeps spawn killing you to the point where you have to leave the game. Like, okay, that guy's kind of a dick. But at the same time, that if that's how he wants to play the game, if that's how he wants to have fun, I don't want to stop him from doing that. I'm just going to take myself out of the situation. That's all it is. Like, you know, I'm not going to be like, oh, he's a terrible person for doing that. Like, no, it's a video game. This guy isn't real. He's not real. I don't care if, like, well, this horse isn't real. Like, I don't care. Like, it doesn't matter. It's a video game character. And like I said, I've been real upset when I've died in video games. But it's not like the first time. It's when I've died a lot. And again, that was when I was a kid. I've grown up and realized this is a video game. It doesn't matter. And that's the real... I feel as though people who criticize video games, like, there's an interesting double standard. You know? Like, those people that say that, like, Red Dead Online, like, GTA, you know, oh, they're bad games. Oh, they promote violence and this and that and all that. And it's like, okay, here's what I mean when I say a double standard. It's like, if you were to tell one of those people, like, hey, I just bought this new horse and bought this new outfit and got this new thing, you know, they'll be like, oh, it's not real. That's not real. You don't really have that, you know, this isn't real. But then it's like, you're like, oh man, I just destroyed this dude, you know, I just killed this NPC, you know, just burnt down this thing. And they're like, oh my god, that's terrible, you're a terrible person. And it's like, I thought it wasn't real. Like, you know, that's what I mean when I say there's this double standard when it comes to video games. Where it's like, whenever you do something good, whenever you have some achievement, it's like, oh, it's not real. But whenever you do something bad, it's like, oh, you must really want to do that. You're a bad person. It's like, no, like, you gotta pick one, you know? Like I said, oh, I got this cool horse. I got this really nice horse. And I'm sure some people were like, oh, whatever, you don't really have that horse. And it's like, I'm not saying that I do. You know? And it's the same thing with what I talked about. Well, okay, it's not the same thing, but it's a similar thing. How, like, look at this. Look at this beautiful landscape. And people might be like, oh, it's not real. It's like, well, shit, neither is a Starry Night or whatever by Van Gogh. Like, that's not real. It's just a painting. I'm not marveling at, like, oh my god, look at this beautiful night we have. No, I'm like, wow, someone made this. I'm looking at like, someone did this. Someone created this. I'm looking at like the art of it, you know? And that's where I feel like this big double standard comes in when it comes to video games. People are like, "Oh, it's not real" whenever it comes to the good things, but then whenever it comes to the bad things, they're like, "Oh, you can't do that. That's terrible. Oh, what an awful person you are." Like, there's this huge double standard when it comes to video games and people that enjoy them. Like I said, that great night sky. Oh, that's not real. But then I come over here. Oh my God, you're an awful person. You're such a terrible person. It's like this stuff isn't real. These people aren't real. I mean, if they are, like, if I found out that this was like some like Westworld stuff where they could feel and remember everything, I would take a step back and be like, whoa, maybe I should stop doing this. But it's not. These people aren't real. They're computer programs. I didn't, hold someone against the wall and shoot them in the head. I cut off a program, I basically just flipped off a light switch. Okay, so I know I've gone off on a bit of a tangent, or digressed, or gone a bit off the rails, or off track from what I was talking about. But that was something that I kind of wanted to say for a little while, and I felt as though this was a good opportunity to say it, like during this game. Okay, so to summarize, I love Red Dead. It's awesome. Uh, the hunting is just great. The interactions with players is absolutely incredible. I love it. I could never stop recommending this game. My only problem with it is, again, lack of content for long-time players. I've had this game for for as long, like I said, for almost as long as it's been out. And it's like there's not really much for me to do on here except go around and like hunt, do some busy work, or I'm just maintaining stuff. My business. I'm just maintaining stuff, like getting money just to have money, just to get money, or helping out my friend who just got the game. Those are literally like the only two, or new other players. Those are literally the only two things that I can really think to do on this game, which is upsetting. Because as I said, I love this game. And I would love for Rockstar to take as much care with this game and put in as much work to this game as they have with GTA Online. Because I feel as though it deserves it. And quit adding new currency. Like, oh, the token. Okay. These three are one thing. Like, okay, you got the money. Then you got the gold. Which I don't think you should have things on here that you have to have gold to buy. That's like stupid. And then you got the tokens. The tokens are honestly a bit much. But at the same time, it's like, okay, you get the tokens by progressing in your roles, so whatever. But now they've got Capitale. It's like, quit adding currency, you jackasses, and add content, not currency. Add content, not currency. Stop making me have to work for you gotta do this mission to do a couple of these missions to be able to pay. I have to pay Capitale to do a freaking mission. Like, what is wrong with you over there at Rockstar? Like, their Red Dead Online team needs to, I don't know. They need some advice. They need some help. They need to quit. They need to just add stuff that the players want. People have been saying for years what they wanted in this game. Open up Mexico and add some new missions there. That's all you really have to do, honestly. If you were to do that, you know how many freaking people would come back to this game? Like, oh my God. And don't stop there. keep adding new missions, new stuff. Like, quit just doing the bare minimum and then complaining that not enough people are playing this game. That's my piece about Red Dead Online and what I think about it and what I think they should do, and all that, everything I said. So there you go. If you like this content, if you want more of it, please like, subscribe. If you didn't like it, one, thank you for watching this far, and two, let me know why. Let me know, what you didn't like about it, and if you think that I can improve, let me know how. Again, if you don't like this content, tell me why. Don't just be like, oh, you suck, this is terrible, blah blah blah. Give me some constructive criticism instead of just criticizing me. If you don't like what I'm doing, tell me why. So, okay. That being said, again, like, subscribe, share if you enjoy this content. And if you want to see more of it, I've been Apocalypse the Gaming Guru, and thank you all.